kailabreece.
Democracy, demos kratos, people rule. In theory, democracy describes a political philosophy that tries to advocate that all members of a society have equal access to power and all members enjoy universal freedoms and liberties. The common model is known as trias politica, which is Greek, and it employs the separation of powers between an executive, legislative, and a judicial branch. There are endless types of democracies, some of which provide better representation and more freedoms than others. However, if any democracy finds itself with an uneven distribution of political influence, basically not separating the powers, then one single branch is able to accumulate control in a way that is actually destructive to democracy completely. The majority rule is often described as a chief characteristic feature within democracy. But without responsible government, it is possible for the rights of the minority to be abused by the tyranny of the majority. An essential piece in keeping the status quo in representative democracies are competitive elections, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. The goal is to have sincere candidates and well-informed voters. Now, democracy has been coined the last form of government and has thusly spread rather quickly across the globe. But anyone who lives in a democracy will most likely tell you it isn't without its faults. I can easily, right now, list 2 reasons why democracy is hopefully not the last form of democracy. Number 1, polarization. Modern political parties behave in an in-group and out-group mentality, making claims like, my plan is the only path to a better tomorrow. Rather, they should probably seek convergence by means of cooperation and negotiation. But instead, we create a culture war every election. Neither side willing to give an inch. So, hopefully, the government of tomorrow will construct party lines with nothing more than eraser-friendly ideals as opposed to party commandments. Number 2, democratic politics are easily hijacked by special interest groups and ill-informed voters. Now more than ever, the power of money and some fancy video effects have taken the place of hard facts and tough decisions. Elections are based on catchphrases and slogans, and who has enough paper to continue spewing it out into the public domain. Wealthy special interest groups, funded by conservative and liberal visions, feed their one-dimensional babble and corrupt our easily influenced politicians. Hopefully, the government of tomorrow will find a way to discover intelligent candidates with integrity and maybe a desire to make the world better instead of normal self-serving interests. Now, notwithstanding my few complaints, and I do have a couple more, but notwithstanding those 2, democracy is the best form of government to date. The best part of democracy is the ideal itself. A government for the people and by the people. I subscribe to this authority because it attempts to let people rule themselves. Now, I wish we didn't need any form of government, but we all know that one person on the 8 o'clock news who is living proof that humanity still isn't intelligent enough to govern itself without Big Brother's intervention. So what now? Alan Coren said, democracy consists of choosing your dictators after they've told you what it is you want to hear. James Fenimore Cooper said, the tendencies of democracies is, in all things, mediocrity. Well, is that true? My question to my fellow intellectuals is this: what do you think of democracy? How do we improve upon it? And how do we protect the ideals? I personally think democracy is the right step forward in what sometimes appears to be a world with very slow moral evolution. But democracy is about responsibility, the responsibility to protect not only your freedoms, but the freedoms of others. Democracy is about pursuing truly humanitarian ideals. I love democracy, but that is why I'll be the first to say it needs to be better. We need an educated and informed populace for democracy to be really effective. A good democracy should not infringe on anyone's personal freedoms. A good democracy should provide education, work, healthcare, and protection for its people. A good democracy is the voice of the people. But it needs to be better than that. We have too many apathetic voters, and even more that are one-dimensional voters. This is kailabreece. What do you know?